I was at a point in my life where I had gone through every route I felt that I could and nothing worked.
I just spoke with the associate pastor and he said y'all need to move on.
I'm done with ministry, I'm done with church, I'm done with those ideas. I still embrace Jesus and I still loved his teachings, but I was just done with the presentation, the American evangelical presentation of it. I just read about how Jesus told this innumerable multitude of people to sell everything they had and to rely on God's provision and to give their money to the poor.
Does anyone want to adopt a Jesus today? There's 3,000 people sleeping on the streets, and this packet is just a covenant to pray for this person. And if you see them, that you'd bless them and give to them, take them in, or maybe feed them.
A lot of drug users, I do, you know what I'm saying? I do it out of pain. You know what I'm saying?
Bad day to be homeless, huh?
I figured as much as you hear Christians say the word disciple, I don't know many people that have done that. And I just decided what better way to, figure it out than do it.
Look at this dude. He was a very pretty boy until they put those huge holes in his ears that made through his nose. Oh, it's gone now. I have it, I'll show you. That ink on his nose. We're close enough to downtown to get a nice view. Close enough to the ghetto to get some good homeless people. We're eating out the trash. Pretty good. We got some rice, some beans, corn and potatoes. Sounds like a good Russian meal or Appalachian meal or something, but simple life, my friend. Simple life. Yeah, there's a lot of homeless people that walk by and they see the bus and they see can't ignore the poor, and they kind of get it real quick, so they know this is a place that they can come and hang out. So just in case they come, we'll have food. And if not, we'll eat food because we're hungry. I don't know. I just get real excited about making stuff like this. Mm-hmm. Just because, first off, I don't know, the whole idea of taking stuff that was meant for waste, meant for death and using it for life, whether it be...
Unless you die from eating it.
Yeah, unless you die from eating it. I've never gotten sick, nor has any homeless person ever fed. That's my disclaimer, but no. That's why I find so much joy in building a bus out of wood that I find in the dumpster, and eating food out the dumpsters, and I don't know. Got some rice, rice and beans and potatoes and stuff.
I'm trying to get a job in this fucking town, man. It's insane.
What's that?
I've been going through. I went through 5 labor agencies, and they got this place up here that I have a van that's at Firestone that broke down, and so I'm like. I can't even, in 7 days, I can't even raise $70 fucking bucks to get my van.
Wow.
I'm trying to sell it for scrap, but the people that towed it won't even let me take it to the scrapyard to scrap it. Because they want me to pay them the $70 bucks, and if I don't pay it, then they're going to, it's just a way of stealing it, that's all it is.
Oh, they towed it. They towed it from you?
Yeah, they towed it from downtown at the Metroplex.
They towed my stuff
They towed
before.
it to Firestone, and then I said, well, I thought in a week's time, surely I could get $70. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You get a good taste of why people turn to what they turn to. It's a lot easier selling drugs.
Sad but true.
A lot more money too.
No, I know.
It's really sad.
Well,
it's half my fault for not having the money that I did. I only had 135 on me, and I was on my way to New Orleans to get on an offshore drilling rig. And then just one stupid little turn. But I figured surely in a week I could raise $70.
Yeah.
I'm like, my God, man. I don't know. It's just weird, man. It's getting slightly stressful.
Yeah, no,
You
understand.
know what I mean?
We use that as motivation to, let people know things need to get better.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you get negative, it just you
for
just
sure.
become
You
a
can't
part
get
of the
negative,
problem,
but-
you know?
When you get into survival mode, you do stupid shit.
Yeah.
You know
Do what
I
you
mean?
do.
I'll shovel shit. Just give me a job. You know what I mean? It's crazy. That's so, but something will happen. Y'all have a good one, man.
You too, brother.
Take it easy.
That's how it works. I know you hear a lot of stories about alcoholics and drug addicts, but that annoys me.
Be gracious to me, for I'm falling away. Oh, my bones are dismayed. Be gracious to me, for I'm falling away. Oh, my bones are dismayed.
We really seriously need to get oil. And luckily, there's certain restaurants that are closed on Sunday. Bottom's right there. You gotta really skim the top. Okay?
You get a lot of air.
It's okay. We'll just try to see if we can get anything.
You want to pump it back in the dumpster real quick and check it? I can wash it straight.
Hard is it? Is it hard to find oil anymore, man?
It's hard. It's definitely hard during the day. I know a lot of people lock their dumpsters. It's illegal a lot of the times to take oil now. It's getting ridiculous. All because gotta tax that fuel, man.
Get really low in here.
Huh?
Get really low in here.
Okay.
It's got a rust in the bottom. Get in here.
Keep it.
I'm just going outside.
Hold this one too. Now we just gotta pump the crap out. You have to use it looks like a coffee filter, but it's a grease filter. Some restaurants, they filter their grease after they use it so they can reuse it. And this is the way to do it. It takes a little while, but it gets all the water that you don't want in your engine out, and it gets all the junk that your filters on your pump didn't pick up, so it's definitely a good little investment. And we'll dump it. Yeah, dude, this is a lot of oil. Oil is bad today. Bad. same thing, I just took it out the packet. After searching for grease for 2 days in Nashville, we decided to meet up with some friends who drove us around town until we found exactly what we needed. Well, I mean, I know this is gonna sound probably really ridiculous to a lot of people, but we actually prayed before we left to find oil, and we meant in a dumpster that we could pump out and hope that it's clean, and we literally found, this is, we're gonna have to come back. What we do. Hey, what's up, man?
What's up, man?
You going to Memphis?
Yes, sir.
So are we.
Excellent.
Hop in, baby. We're making a documentary, FYI, so
all right.
hope you don't mind having a camera. I always try to pick up every hitchhiker I see while traveling. And so on our way to Memphis, we found a couple of guys who needed rides. We picked up Rex right outside of Nashville. Headed towards Memphis, he had just graduated college and decided he wanted to travel until he figured things out. A few miles later, we picked up Robert.
I think I walked about 10 miles before you guys picked me up.
You mentioned you stayed last night in a shelter. Can you talk a little bit about that experience?
It was called the Mission, is how I was told to it. I forget the actual name. But it was a shelter just outside of downtown Nashville. I had just gotten into town, and another guy who was homeless walked up to me and asked me if I wanted a hot meal and a place to stay for the night. And so I wouldn't go on my own. To have somebody kind of introduce me to the place was a good gateway for me to get in, because it was pretty intimidating getting there. There was a courtyard, and it was filled with people, and people were talking, but it was just a very different atmosphere. No one was really happy, excited. I don't know. It had a prison-like feel to it.
My name is Robert Williams. They call me Preacher. I took the clothes on my back, a raincoat, and a Bible. And he sent them out 2 by 2. He says, "Don't worry about the money in your pocket, the clothes on your back." He said, "Your Heavenly Father," he says, look at Solomon. He says, "I can tell you what, the lilies of the valley, they do not spindle, they do not toil. But Solomon in all his glory was not dressed as fine as one of them." He says, "Look at that little sparrow over there." He said, they do not sow and they do not reap, but their Heavenly Father feeds them. And I trust Him to do that each and every day." So I stepped out in faith, and I've been doing it ever since. This is something that once it gets in you, it makes me feel like I'm free. And I go anywhere I want to go. My Lord Jesus Christ, he didn't have no place to stay. And I understand why He didn't have no place to stay. He said, "The foxes have holes, but the Son of Man has no place to lay His head." I understand why He didn't have a place, because they didn't want to hear the truth. And the truth does hurt.
And if God cares so wonderfully for the flowers that are here today and tomorrow thrown into the fire, He would certainly care for you. Why do you have such little faith? So don't be concerned about what you eat or drink. Don't worry about such things. These things dominate the thoughts of unbelievers all over the world, but your Father already knows your needs. Keyword, needs. You'll hear that word a lot. Seek the kingdom of God above all else, and He will give you everything you need. And the kingdom of God being that kingdom that was established of blessing those who persecute you. Instead of suing someone that steals from you, buying them a car, giving to everyone who asks and not expecting anything in return. The kingdom of redistribution.
Wayfaring stranger, traveling through a world of woe, in no city total danger in that bright land I'm headed for. I'm going there to see my Father. Say to me when I come. I'm only going over Jordan. I'm only going over home.
We came up to Memphis to come to the Civil Rights Museum, and I'm a huge fan of Martin Luther King Jr. and everything he stood for. And then we get here and we see that there's a little, little sit-down type of protest booth, basically saying that $20 million have been spent on this museum, and that it's a desecration of what Martin Luther King Jr. would have actually wanted. That these people are coming and paying and basically worshiping an act of hate that happened here, and not really living the dream that he died for. And this all ties into actually being Christian and stepping out and standing up for justice and righteousness and equality, all things that are central to the message of God. And I mean, after looking at the display and realizing that this hotel could be used to take in the disenfranchised and the poor and the people that he died to protect, I mean, we're definitely not going to pay to get in or anything like that, because it just definitely perpetuates the cycle that we're trying to break. And I just realized that people paying to see this but not living this life is no different than us going to church and paying homage to Jesus and not at all doing anything that he said. And it hit me that, I mean, this, just like many other monuments we have, they're just reflections. We fall in love with a past memory and a movement, comfortable enough to say that we like the idea, and far enough to know that we'll never have to get involved. And I think, that's the way of the Christian, or at least what I've been taught. I know that's not the way of Jesus, though.
The mourners all cried and went, and the new dawn is giving way tonight, and everyone has come and gone, but the road is still 1,000 miles long, and the worst for most is my very best. Come to me, all you weary, and I will give you rest. Come to me, all you weary, and I will give you rest. Come to.
I just spoke with the associate pastor, and he said y'all need to move on.
Well, we need to get everything picked up, and
Huh?
I said we're gonna get everything picked up and have a little coffee real quick, if that's all right.
No, y'all got about 15 minutes, and y'all need to move on.
Did he say why?
Huh?
Did he say why?
He don't have to say why.
Well, I'm just asking.
No.
Is that, I mean,
It's just that, we don't allow overnight parking without permission first. And we've got the issue with the dead body in the parking lot.
yeah.
And so he said, that was him that just drove by.
Yeah.
And so he said, y'all got 15 minutes.
All right, we'll do our best. We try to get directions. Yes, sir, brother. We are. I'm just trying to get a feel for where we are in Shreveport. We're not thinking about heading over there right now, but there's a church that's kicking us out of their parking lot. Well, that happens quite often. We're kind of just waiting for directions, and hopefully they won't come back before we get out of here. Cool. We're you know where Summer Grove is, the ex-mall church. Wow, because last night the associate pastor came and told us, I guess he tried to scare us off by telling us about the dead body they found here. He made it sound like there was like this gruesome murder, and then the security guard came later and he was like, yeah, there was a dead body, it was a suicide, the guy took too many pills. and then he's like, and Bob asked the cameraman, he's like, hey, do you go to church here? And he laughed, he's like, no. He's like, but I'll open the doors at 6 if y'all want to come and get cleaned up. And then as soon as we woke up, a security guard came over, told us we had to get out of here.
When the cops decided to show up, we thought it was a good time to finally move on. Our next stop was Common Grounds, a small community outreach in the bad port of Shreveport.
Oh no, that's the fireplace.
A fireplace.
Common Grounds is a community of people who decided to take Jesus seriously and tackled the worst problems of their community hands-on. They play a small but very important part of a subtle revolution taking over throughout the states.
Yeah, I figure if I ever get a girlfriend, it'd be great to, roast some marshmallows. But until then, so this is the grease. That's
More.
yeah. There's there's a lot. But we threw away most of the bottles that we had, but we still have a bunch left back there.
I gotta go pick up the girls. I gotta go pick up the Jacksons. No. They love going anywhere with you. Even if it's, just 6 blocks down the road. Every day. Can I come? Can I come? Can I come? We've started picking up the girls before we come to the house, so we don't have to tell them no, because they all want to come. This is one of the worst parts of Shreveport. A lot of violence. Just really, really unstable. These kids go home and they're never sure which house they're going to go home to. They're not sure who's going to be there, whether or not they're going to eat. Home is a very fluid thing for them. We'll see who shows up today. Is it just you today?
No, Bernita's coming.
Bernita? What about, is Precious with her dad? I'll unlock the door so you can get in.
Y'all know what church is. Y'all gotta come up there.
Give her a hug so she'll stop crying.
So you're not okay.
Breaks my heart that I can't take the little ones too. Hey, Nita.
We've been here long enough, and for many years have served a community meal and things out and tutoring out of a church building, and a lot of people have come.
One thing that's hard when we first came, we at 45 had a teenage daughter and tried to scale our lives back. We started looking at the Bible, thinking about these things and how we are called to not just continue to try to climb this ladder of more stuff. And we have been blessed by a wonderful business, and she has a wonderful job as a teacher, and we've been blessed with all that. But we said there had to be something more. We had our daughter rode horses, so we lived on a big ranch and loved it out there. But we were spending more and more time here, and the longer we lived out there, the more we knew we needed to scale back and move closer into Cedar Grove so we could spend some time here. And so I don't have to work 80 hours a week to pay for a piece of property that's controlling my life. When we bought this property here, in my mind, you know, my friends are buying lake houses, and we all decided to buy a former crack house. So it was kind of you know, an awkward thing from a financial picture, but all that was pushed aside. I mean, that didn't make any difference. That was not the reason we did it. It was just because we knew we needed to be here. We knew we needed a conduit for the neighborhood. We knew we needed to invest our lives.
What's happening here is what we're called as Christians to do. The kids call the White House the church, and I think that is completely appropriate because they come knowing that they are loved and that they're going to be accepted for who they are. That's how you should feel at church. And I'm a firm believer that church isn't a building, it's a group of people. So it's completely appropriate that they call what happens here the church. Because this is how it's supposed to be. We're supposed to be taking care of each other.
You want to get out?
Yeah.
You need help? Hold on. Hold on.
Stick up the hill.
You is not gonna cross that street.
Let me see.
You have to sit down.
Watch out. Get back. Move out. I caught him right here.
Who put this up?
You did a good job. Yeah.
You know, church always talks about going out and being out and doing things, but I never ever, as growing up, never saw people really doing that as much as I feel that we are now, not being in a church building. So I mean, you can't get much more out than this. So there is a difference to me.
And it's when people hear what we're doing here in Cedar Grove and as common ground, they ask, "Oh, what church do you go to?" And I'm like, "This is church." Or even the funnier story I get is, "We want to do something this weekend," and they said, "Oh, I know you're busy all day Sunday." And I said, "Well, actually, I got a lot of time Sunday, but Wednesday nights and Thursday nights and Monday and Thursday afternoons we're really busy." But this is church to us. I mean, so this is where we place certainly our spiritual energy. This is where we certainly receive the most out of worshiping. I mean, what we do is a form of worship.
I see Christ more, and in the faces and in the hearts, more here than I have sitting in a pew or something like that. So, yeah.
Take it easy, man.
After leaving Common Grounds, we didn't think the simple life could be any more appealing until we met this guy on the side of the road on our way to College Station, and we decided to pay him a visit.
Shop? What? No, you ain't working here. This is my store shop. You like this shit? You gonna take it with you? Huh? You want that?
I don't know what it is.
Damn.
Oh, it's a projector. It's a film projector.
Yeah. How much you give me for it? $1, $2. But I get a lot of people stop and want to go. You know me, tour my little thing for the hill. What the hell? I can go to Walmart, get some new shit. I ain't going to Walmart. I go in the woods and find me some buried treasures. It's like a family heirloom, all kind of, you know what I mean? Yeah, like this swing. It didn't cost nothing. They threw it in the trash. It's just some dry rotted. See, ain't nothing to it. I build it. You know what? I take this ski or something, cut this wood just like that, and round his ass off, and put this back in. On the better material. I ain't paid shit for this. You know what? It's just something that what we, you know what I mean, is appreciate. Yeah. Appreciate stuff. I'm gonna bring some stuff back. Y'all probably take back and y'all down with it. Yeah, I don't like that new shit. You ever seen a man take an old wheelbarrow? See, take a wheelbarrow top, and you know what? I put 150 pounds and come 3 miles down that damn road in this old wheelbarrow. I put it on a lawnmower frame, and just to try to make an income. You don't know it. Have y'all saw a VCR play these? Huh? Trying to sell something to make me some money, man. Damn, me talking about foreclosing my house. I ain't making no money. I live in Kansas City. Now, here you go. You buy you something like this, boy. Look at him. Yeah, look at home. This is good. This is, yeah, good. Take it on with you. See, y'all, you what? Y'all touring. You know what? These things are worth a lot. With that too, you go. Look at, I go way back. Damn me, I go way back in your head. Look at Homer. I can see your little head over there. Hey, Bob. Hey, Bob. Yeah. I film you. Hey, Bob. I can film you.
That's one throw. You win some, you lose some. They call me the dumpster terrorist. I exploded in your neighborhood. I would have never ever done that, ever, on purpose. I feel horrible. It's an exciting thing to be a part of the, you know, kind of like when you grow food, you're a part of the creation process. Well, whenever you take food out of the dumpster, you're part of the resurrection process. And I mean, it's terribly exciting and disheartening at the same time. It's like laughing at a joke about racism, you know, and maybe a really, really funny joke. And you may not be racist at all, but it's still entirely sad that there's a reason for that joke, either being that there's a problem or there was a problem. And so it's kind of exciting to jump in a dumpster and find all this food, but it's also disheartening knowing that whatever I don't take is still going to get, you know, trashed. And so I try my best to not only feed all the homeless people I can, I take it to friends' houses and community houses and make sure to share it. And we've been trying to figure out a distribution. Any town I'm in, we'll make grocery bags for neighbors, distribute within the communities that distribute within their communities, and just make sure we have enough for ourselves at the end. We never really, you know, find something and say, oh, that's mine, and then we give the rest of the crappy stuff out. I mean, you would think it came out of the trash, so it's all crappy, but you know what I mean. So, well, We just got everything together from our little run. And we have potatoes and onions, which is good. And then a ton of bread for the morning. And then blueberries, squash, plums. They were all about to stick in the ice chest. And then salad. More salad dressing than we probably know what to ever do with. And some little muffins. I know. I don't know why I do it. I'm crazy. But, alright. Let's get this ice chest out. Looking around for oil in dumpsters, and we were by one of the grocery stores, and the compactor was open. There was like 15 frozen pizzas, like really nice ones. So I was wondering if you wanted them. And then you can put your bike in the bus, and I'll take you over to the house, and we can hook you up with some food. Alrighty, buddy. See you in a little bit. Bye, brother. Awesome. That's a guy named Dan. A really, really cool guy. Between like Shane and all the influences that have kind of sparked the community thing, he started doing these potlucks, free potlucks for homeless people in Bryan, because no one in College Station really does anything for Bryan. And I think he graduated from A&M, just never left. And so they just bought a house, or started renting a house in the ghetto, and they're getting churches to help fix it up, and they're gonna kind of do what Common Grounds in Shreveport was doing. So yeah, we'll go hook them up with some pizzas. Our wonderful pizzas that we found with love for you guys. Thank you. We might, if your oven's working, we might cook one for us and be able to bag it and take it with us, because
we haven't used the oven yet. The stovetop works, I know.
I guess we'll find out.
We can try them.
Let's hope that they do. We stopped to visit my friends at the Sims Community House. They're a group of college students and graduates who rented a house in the worst part of town and started a community garden, potlucks, and taking in homeless folks.
I can. He's asleep.
Ken's one of those homeless folks that they took in.
Everybody's sitting there saying, oh, we gotta do something about the homeless, but nobody's actually doing anything. I mean, all they want to do is kick them out of town. That's not a solution. That's just adding to the problem. It's just making it another town's problem. So I'd say if you want to help out, just do it. Just go for it. And that's how the potluck got started. I mean, it was probably pretty small, and then it's already caught on from people that are friends of bands that have come to his potlucks and then gone back to wherever they were from, and they've started them there. And so it's like, it's catching on. And that's not just for the homeless though, it's just for anybody in the community to come.
A lot of people who come to the potluck dinners come out. We have, this is butternut squash, and that's spaghetti squash over there.
Cool. So it is a community garden.
Yeah, we've had a lot of people from this area come help. It's been great. And people will come out and water it. We just leave the hose here and leave some of the tools and stuff.
So this is what happens when a bunch of people that want to do something. And don't wait for grants. And
wow. 7-Up tree. It's all natural. It's all natural. 7-Up.
it is naturally flavored.
Hey, dude. Where all do y'all go?
Where all do we go?
Yeah, like helping people out and shit.
Oh, wherever really. Right now we're just doing a movie about it, but
You're rolling.
Huh?
You're rolling.
Oh yeah, no, I got my foot on it.
Yeah, dude, I worked with a whole bunch of people like y'all when I was in New Orleans, man.
Okay.
Yeah, the Frida bus and all them.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you heard of them.
No, yeah.
But, yeah, I was there when they flipped the bus.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But yeah, dude, they used to have something like this in Houston that used to come and feed us under the bridge all the time, dude. I used to be homeless.
Oh,
They'll help
really?
us out a lot, dude. I just want to let y'all know that, man.
Oh, thank you,
Yeah,
sir.
the people that do this kind of stuff helped us out a lot. All right, man.
Well, thank you, sir.
What was your name?
Brandt.
Brandt? Johnny.
Yes, sir. What's your name, brother?
My name's Blake.
Blake? Nice to meet you, brother. I'm Brandt.
he's home. He used to be homeless too, man.
Wow, we'll
Yeah,
keep
we
it up,
all,
man.
We all used to get help from these kind of buses, dude.
I'm glad to see you're getting back on y'all's feet, man.
All right, y'all take care.
Later, brother. That was so yeah, they just we were pulling out the parking lot and they waved us down. They're like, pull over, we need to talk to you. And we didn't know if it was going to be bad or violent or what, but that was I don't know, that was amazing. We gotta start like upping our breakfast quota like big time. Either we need to start eating a lot or we need to start inviting people in a lot. You see, I don't get it. I mean, look. Is that why they threw it out? That little dent? They throw them out for anything, like just anything at all. Like a little tiny scratch or if they drop the crate or whatever it is. We're gonna go and get a few things to make some big massive I guess burritos. It's really cheap and all the stuff we found last night basically would be good with soup, and it's so hot. So being that we're in Houston, the spirit of Texas, we're just gonna make some massive burritos, hand them out, and hopefully goof off and get to know some people. I spent a lot of time in Houston on the streets, so there's a lot of people I know, and I'm hoping we run into a lot of them today. So that's basically the plan today, just kick it downtown by U of H and see what happens. So we're just trying to rearrange because every time we hit a bump it's like, because the weight's really bad. But yes sir.
தெய்வன் வெள்ளமே திருவருள் தோற்றமே மெய்மனதானந்தமே செய்யனின் சம்பாதம் சேவிக்கையுவேளை ஐயானின் அடிபணிந்தேன் செய்யனின் சம்பாதம் சேவிக்கையுவேளை ஐயானின் அடிபணிந்தேன் சொந்தம் ஊனதல்லால் சோர வழி செல்ல எந்தாய் துணிவேனோயான் குந்தி கமலமாம் பூமாலை கோத்து நின் பொற்பதம் பிடித்து போவே
I was just thinking about you not too long ago, man. Trying to make it, man.
Bad day to be homeless, huh? Put some dang music on and cook some food, baby. Hopefully by the time we're done cooking, it'll stop raining. That would be ideal. You wanna start feeding some people? Yeah. Starting with us. Ha! No, I'm actually really hungry. I guess we didn't really eat this morning.
We didn't eat breakfast. We lost my stain of the eggs.
We can still do that tomorrow.
What's on the menu?
We're making burritos, so we got rice, beans, tortillas, sour cream, and salsa. And I mean, thing is, homeless people, and I hate to even use that word, but homeless people, they generally, you know, what do we do whenever we go feed the homeless? We make sandwiches or, hot dogs. And it just,
Peanut butter and jelly.
it's a bit disheartening sometimes, you know, because, yeah, peanut butter and jelly. Because, I mean, this is also very easy. You can put it in foil, wrap it up, and I mean, they feel like they're getting a meal, you know, like it's hearty, it's warm, and you can cook it with them. How about that? That's quite a novel idea, right? Or even I let them help cook. Because I meet so many people, they're like, well, I'm not going to help homeless because they just this and that and this and that. But, I mean, you don't give them a chance to help, period. And maybe the stereotype would break a little bit for that. It's a good day to drain stuff because it's just going downhill with the water, or with the 75% of the people that I meet on the streets in Houston, they tell me that this place, they not only have to have mandatory services like where they explain the Bible to you, and or not even explain, they have mandatory services for an hour before they feed you, and then they confiscate all your drugs and weapons or anything at the door, which is you understand that, right? But they had many instances where the homeless claimed to see the preachers and the people that would do the mandatory services smoking their drugs, you know, and I had guys tell me they'd much rather be an honest drug user on the streets than a hypocrite in the shelter. And I mean, these people have, you know, I mean, morals. And yes, they might be addicted to something, or not even addicted. They may casually, you know, do something. Anyone that's an alcoholic or a drug dealer or a drug addict on the streets, genuine, like usually when I talk to them, I find out that this is a habit that they acquired to make it easier to be here, rather than getting kicked out or losing all your money because of it.
A lot of drug users, I do, you know what I'm saying, I do it out of pain. You know what I'm saying? So I got $100. $100, man. I wind up taking $100, man, that I got blessed with, man, and squandered it. You know what I'm saying, on drugs, man. You know, and I'm really disappointed in myself about that, you know. The only thing we do is keep on pushing, man. You know, and keep our faith in God, you know, and try to make better decisions up in life. But, you know, like I tell her, man, we're going to really have to stop messing with that stuff.
I met LA when I was homeless myself in Houston. He's always a good friend, and although he seems to screw up a lot, has always been there for me.
It's been our new home right here, this abandoned building. And we don't have a lot of time over there, so, you know, we're going to have to figure something out. That's why I be telling we need to save our money. You know what I'm saying? I love to wake up in the hotel room, I swear to, and I ain't watched TV in so long, bro. You just don't know, man.
Some goes on, some is many streets alive.
the homeless, and even though they're poor, they'll prey on the rich if nobody feeds them. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
No,
so if a man hungry and you got it and he don't have it, he gonna come take it. Think about it. So you better feed him, or show him a way, or teach him how to work. But if you keep feeding a man and don't teach him, he gonna keep coming back like a dog or a pigeon, like a bird. But if you teach him how to work, maybe he'll go work for himself.
If you ever see a homeless person checking their feet, this is what. I'm reminiscent of my days out here, man. Gotta poop like you wouldn't imagine. And I keep getting rocks and sharp things come through my shoes.
How hard is it to use the restroom out here when you're homeless?
Well, I mean, you either do it, you know, with absolutely no dignity back here, which that's really not an option, because this is all a camp right here. Like during the day it's wiped out, but at night it'll fill up. And I mean, it's kind of one of those things where like you don't disrespect your camp, because those are the people that you live with and that love you and that care for you, and you take care of each other. But you disrespect the people that disrespect you. I guess that's the idea. So they'll poop behind, I mean, you'll use the bathroom behind dumpsters or in alleyways or wherever, because it's impossible. Like, I mean, this backpack I have, this is the one that I was, you know, wearing when I got booted from, or got yanked out of the service at Lakewood. And I mean, I don't have anything in it besides books. Right now it's food, but just to have a pack, you know, knowing that there's some wear and tear, knowing that there's a few things hanging off of it, you just can't take that in any store. And unless you're with someone, you have to have someone watch your pack. Like if we're in groups, we'll pack watch when we go into a convenience store, grocery store or something. We'll leave one person out, but it's impossible, and it's like the nastiest feeling. It just makes you feel like inhumane, really. And so it's kind of weird. Like when I'm on long trips now, if I have to poo, I know it shouldn't. I don't know, but if I have to use the restroom and I'm holding it in or whatever, it doesn't. I don't know. It just doesn't make me feel good. It reminds me of how I had to search for hours and hours just to do something that was natural, and you know, it shouldn't be a privilege. So. Luckily enough, we went into Loaves and Fishes and they're making gumbo or soup or something, but either way, just so happens that we found these guys in the dumpster, so.
While driving around downtown, we sort of stumbled across Loaves and Fishes. It's a small but beautiful soup kitchen run by some great folks. That's how we met Billy.
I was living at a shelter not too far from here, and I wasn't too impressed. Especially when I come down with new clothes and I end up with a pair of pants for a job interview. The crotch tore out and I have no underwear. And white shirt, it's all messed up. To go into my profession, to go for a job interview, I couldn't show up in that. I ended up on Buffalo Bayou and volunteered here, and they would give us a little something to take back to the camp. I ended up, police came down and had us sleep in there. And the guy that was the manager here said, Billy, why don't you, being to work half the time here, why don't you just go ahead and come into Magnifica House? I did. I walked in and he ran. So I ended up with the position here at Loaves and Fishes. I've seen so many people, so many young gay kids, non-gay kids, my mother included, who had the Bible used as a weapon. My mom grew up in a Baptist Catholic background. She was literally beat the hell out of the Bible over her head. You know, take that Bible, beat the hell out of them with it, to the point where she built a Pyrus at 7 years old, lit it, and was ready to jump into it because the Bible being used as a weapon. There's so many young kids who commit suicide because of the Bible being used as a weapon. I've seen the Bible used for good and for bad. And there is nowhere in the Bible I ever read where you beat the hell out of somebody with it, scare them shitless, and then turn around and say, oh, here, now you can eat. My understanding correctly of Christ, it was feed them, clothe them, nourish them back to health, comfort them, and they will come to me. That's all he said. He didn't say take the word and beat the hell out of them with them. Point a finger and say you're a sinner, you're immoral, you're this, you're that, you're a dope addict. I've been in places. And that preacher don't even know me, you know? I know who I am. First of all, God don't make mistakes. I'm not a mistake.
Agnus Dei qui tollis, peccata mundi, dona nobis pace.
After our conversation with Billy, we decided to head back to the park to see if we could find LA before we left. And that's how we ran across our new friend Terry.
15 to 20 years ago, I did 11 years of my life in penitentiary in Louisiana. None of it out here in Houston. Since 92, I've been down here. I did a little small shit like threw a beer can down, open container, sleeping under the bridge, like not bothering nobody. Come wake me up right, man. Tell you, hey, what's your name? First thing I want to do is, you got any warrants, man? I don't know, check them. You got the thing right there. I got to show you bill of proof right now. I'll show y'all. Like I said, I got papers in my pocket. I walk. That's why I look at the laws now. Hold on, keep your camera rolling. All these motherfucking charges, bullshit ass charge because a nigga is homeless, but they all misdemeanor shit.
Wow.
You know, dumb shit. Read, put them motherfuckers where you can see them. How the hell I get a goddamn fire code? Walking? Homeless? Well, I gotta see a fire code. Where is a fire code at? What am I burning? Was it a fire going on? We ain't did nobody out here nothing. Because I asked you for something, I can accept a refusal, and I'll stay my goddamn 6 feet away from you when I talk to you, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna be aggressive and come up to you, make you have to pull a gun and shoot me, you know, and scare you. Cause hey, I'm scared already. I'm just asking, you know. Hey, you tell me yes or no. Hey, I'll go on by my way. You know, simple as that.
I asked some people for some. Leftover food. There were two people, a girl and a guy out there panhandling and hitting all these people up for money. They weren't asking for food. They were wanting money. I asked this lady. I said, well, y'all gonna eat there? You know, I'll eat it. So the husband said, well, it ain't much in there, but I got some money here. I'll give you some money. I said, well, all right. Gave me $10, and I went and got me something to eat. But as he gave me that money, the girl that was up there panhandling, see, that's the people that makes it bad out here on us. They get aggressive and shit, man. Made it bad. I mean, she confronted us. She confronted that lady, and that lady had a crippled girl in a wheelchair and shit. I was real nice to him. I didn't. But she came over there. That panhandler girl came over and made a big deal of it. You know, and scared them.
Mm-hmm.
And I just told her, you know, y'all out here up to no good. You know, just ask for money. Go out there and buy you some crackers. It makes it hard on us.
Where y'all staying tonight?
Where I'm gonna stay tonight?
Yeah.
Wherever I can. Wherever they won't run me off.
Yeah, we're gonna go. We're going to hang out at that big church tomorrow to make them see some things. We're gonna. What we plan on doing is I'm setting up a booth out of cardboard, kind of like a recruitment booth, and it's gonna say "Adopted Jesus" because in the Bible in Matthew 25, that's one of the only times Jesus ever talked about judgment, and he said that at the end of the time he's just gonna separate the people like sheep and goats, and basically say, you know, when I was hungry, you fed me. When I was thirsty, you gave me something to drink, and you took me in and you visited me in prison. Like, these are all personal, very intimate type dealings, not like I gave a sack of potatoes to a soup kitchen, but you saw me on the streets and you grabbed me and you know, helped me out. So, and I sold everything I had and gave all my money away and lived on the streets for a year so I could figure it out, and I've been through it, and it's kind of hard to get back into that selfish way of life when you've seen all this. So, yeah, we're gonna try to hopefully, you know, make them a little uncomfortable, but in a good way, you know.
Go over there that big Lakewood. Shit, I'm riding.
You can hang out?
I'm gonna talk and let them know, make the book right. Let them know what the public is doing to us, people that ain't got nothing, and they supposed to be helped. We all God's child.
We're doing this in the middle of the street, aren't we? Didn't even notice. I couldn't really use the Sharpies on that. Well, obviously we still got a lot to do. I just kind of put the little logo on it right now. I'm gonna put their name, which is all gonna say Jesus, and then age and where you can find them and just some fun facts. It's gonna be interesting. The story goes, I come to Lakewood. I got my backpack, got my, I guess, homeless garb on. And to make a really long story short, I have this usher that comes up to me as I'm in kind of the front section, and he asked me, hey, can I take your bag? You're in camera range. And I said, sure, take my bag, that's fine. And then he walks away and he comes back with a security guard, and they pull me out in the back office. He's like, you're gonna have to come with us. So what happens is I go back there and they start checking my bags, they run my license, kind of pat me down a bit, and just, it was insane. They saw that I had a video camera that I borrowed from a church to kind of work on a little media project that I was doing, and they made suggestions that I stole it, saying, oh, how could you afford that, you know, if you're homeless? I don't think that, you know, you could afford something like this. And it went on and on with everything I had. They made me explain everything I had. Finally, I was like, can I go back to service? And they're like, yeah, we'll let you back in, but you have to come back for your bag later. And they walked me in with an armed guard, and I went to kind of go left or right towards the front where I was sitting, and they pulled me left, and they kind of put me up in the bleachers, and I heard them on the radio say, don't put me in camera range, which all these things, you know, just really mess with me. And the whole time I'm not thinking about me, I'm thinking about all the other homeless or poorer, you know, neglected type of people that come in and get pulled out for a random bag check. And they said that I was a security threat, that my looks drew attention to myself. And I just thought of in the book of James where it said, when you bring, you know, whenever a rich man and a poor man comes into your temple, do you take the rich man and give him the nice seat, and the poor man and give him, you know, make him sit at your feet or in the back, you know? It's really messed with me. And so I was kind of done with this place. I sized them up in my mind, I guess. And finally, a couple weeks later, I felt God really pushing my heart to come back. And sure enough, sat around the same place, the security guard, the head comes up. He said, "You again? What's in your bag?" You know, basically asking me if I had bombs or anything that would go off on him if he checked. And this time I mean, I wasn't as expectant for something good to happen as I was the time before, so I knew what I was getting myself into. And as he searched my bag, I just kind of let him, and I ended up leaving a little early, trying to get back to my seat. And when I got back up there, knowing the routine that I'd have to come back for my bag later, I just started to break down and cry. And this usher came up and hugs me, and he said, "I want you to let you know that our church isn't like this, that Joel's not like this, and I'm sorry that this happened, and I want to get your story." So he ended up talking to me after, kind of, I guess, touch base and realized what I was doing, who I was, kind of deal. And things changed real quick, basically. They were real quick to try to help, and paid for me to go on a men's retreat, just to make it better, which almost made it worse, because I thought about all the people that got pulled out and never come back. You know, they get humiliated, they kill themselves. God knows what they do whenever they get pulled out of a worship service. You know, to come here, I mean, with 40,000 members, you would think that you could blend in, but I guess comfort knows no bounds. So we're back for round 3.
Lord, have mercy on me, a sinner. I have my good things you had your bad. Lord, have mercy on me, a sinner. My skin stays there through the sorrows you had. Lord, have mercy on me, a sinner.
We're going to go to church this morning over here at Lakewoods Church in Houston. And after we had John Ostin's church. That's where we at right now, sitting in front of the parking lot. Yeah. Well, while we speak, we're right here in front of this church. But,
we're just reminding people that out on the streets of Houston, we can adopt to Jesus, that there's 3,000 people sleeping on the streets, and Jesus said that every single one of them is him in disguise. And that if we have a spare bedroom in our house, it's a perfect homeless shelter when those homeless shelters are shut down.
Hey guys,
how are you, brother?
What we got going?
Well, we're offering, we're having an Adopt to Jesus rally today. Basically, there's 3,000 people sleeping on the streets, which is kind of interesting.
What you got with the camera?
Huh? Oh, that's just a camera guy.
Okay.
But
I get permission from anybody to do this?
Oh, we talk to people. I'm not sure if we have permission. I'm sure we have permission from the Lord. I don't know if we have permission from anyone here.
This is probably popular. I don't think y'all can do this right here.
Well, I guess if you want to send someone down to talk to us, that'd be great.
6:30 now.
There you go.
Just hold it. Go up there and check what where you at, B1 or B2?
Hey, everybody.
6:30.
Anyone want to adopt to Jesus today? We got 3,000 of them sleeping on the streets of Houston. You know, Matthew 25, it says that when you've taken in the homeless, you've taken in Jesus. So these are all our Jesus in disguises that we have. And we just made up packets basically so that you can keep it with you and pray for this person. And if you ever see them, we put the locations of where they normally sleep and their needs. And just to remember them. And the first person to take a packet gets a copy of the game. Does anyone want to adopt to Jesus? There's 3,000 Jesuses sleeping on the streets. In Matthew 25, it says, anything that you've done to the needy, you've done to him. The first person to take a packet gets a free board game, Joel Osteen's board game. Jesus is on the streets hungry and he's homeless. Does anyone want to help him? I know a lot of you are going to eat today. Does anyone want to take Jesus out to eat? Does anyone want to give him a drink? Give him a place to stay tonight? There's 3,000 Jesuses sleeping on the streets. Does anyone want to adopt Jesus for the night? Take him into your house, maybe give him some food. If anyone wants to take
an Adopt Jesus packet, it'll remind you to pray for this person. If you see him under the interstate or under the bridges, that you bless him. And if you take a packet today, you get a free Your Best Life Now, the board game. Here's your chance to get a free board game. 1 John says that if you see someone in need and you have the world's goods, which we all do, and you deny him, the love of Christ can't be inside of you. It's a real scary thought, right? Hey, we're all here to serve Jesus, right? We have 7 of them on the streets. All you have to do is take a packet and pray for this person. You get a free board game. All you gotta do is take this packet. That's it. And just, if you see this person, I'll tell you that guy's name actually. His name's L.A. He's been on the streets for 4 years. You can find him down behind Spaghetti Warehouse off of I-59 in Commerce. If you're ever down by the Spaghetti Warehouse, we just want people to remember the homeless and the fact that we're coming to church, to serve Jesus.
I have that, so bless somebody else.
Okay, we'll do that. Thank you.
Thank you. God bless y'all.
Oh,
God
you
bless
too.
you.
God bless you. And if you take a packet, you get this free board game. Okay. That's the incentive. So you can pick any one. And these are all people that are downtown in the streets of Houston. There you go, brother. Thank you so much.
God bless you.
Praise. Obviously, our salvation is not about works, but works is an incredible fruit of salvation. And if we do have the world's goods, and we do see someone in need, and we can help them.
doesn't do enough about these?
Oh, not at all. You see, we came to service and worship. I know a lot of the people. I actually preached here once. I love Lakewood. I think that with 40,000 members and 3,000 people sleeping on the streets, there's definitely something that we can do. I mean, we can't wait for.
$1 million a week here too.
Huh?
They take in $1 million.
Oh, you see, the thing is, I'm the biggest skeptic ever, you have to know. But I came here to find out for myself, and they do take in a lot of money. And I'm not going to go into all that. And I just think to love our neighbor as ourselves, we don't even know our residential neighbors usually, much less look at, you and me as neighbors. And on top of that, see each other as brothers and sisters. It's a hard concept. There's not a lot of trust. So, yeah, I mean, how do we love our neighbors as ourselves if we drive this car and live in this house and they live out there? And it really is things that we're required to think about, and
It
so.
seems like you are making a criticism of Lakewood.
Huh?
You are making a criticism of Lakewood.
Oh no, I just think that they have unlimited resources, and the biggest church in America. Let's figure out how we're going to use them.
I'm connecting the dots here. It sounds like a challenge to them.
Oh, it's definitely a challenge, but it's also a challenge that I have, and it's a challenge that we all hold. Because, that's what Paul said. When we work out our salvation, we challenge ourselves constantly. So every day I have to assess what I'm doing with what God gives me. We have a divine responsibility to give, right?
Absolutely.
Does anyone want to adopt a Jesus today? Jesus slept on the streets last night. He got all rained on. His clothes is all mildewed. Jesus is under the bridge off of I-59 in Commerce, right by the Spaghetti Warehouse. We have a picture of him if you can't recognize him. There's only 5 left. There's actually thousands and thousands on the streets, but all you have to do is take a packet, put it in your car, and pray for this person. If you ever see him on the streets, take a meet. Just get to know their names. Or you can keep walking. Jesus talked about that. It was a good Samaritan or something. I don't know. I think it's in the Bible. Come on, guys. Here's a great chance to love your neighbor as yourself. Does anyone want to adopt a Jesus? We're not called to go to church, we're called to be the church, guys. Does anyone love their neighbors as themselves? I'm not pointing a finger, I really want to know. Does anyone want to adopt a Jesus? If I tell you exactly where they are and that they're hungry and wet, will you go and help them? If I tell you that their clothes are mildewed and they haven't eaten in days, will you help them? Will you serve Jesus? All you have to do is take a packet, and what you do is you keep that in your car, and it's a covenant to pray for this person. These are all people that sleep on the streets of Houston, and if you ever see them, that you'll take the meet or get to know their story. That's it. That's all we're asking.
It's my name too.
What?
That's my name too. Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. We have the same name.
Really? Yeah. That's him, but I think we're keeping him for a little while. We'll give you that one away in Lake Charles. If you can figure it out.
Lake Charles, they're gonna give me a ride.
That's so sweet.
To Louisiana, my home.
Guys, does anyone want to adopt Jesus? There's 3,000 Jesus sleeping on the streets that got wet last night. If he can't go eat after church or sit in an air-conditioned seat, he'll probably get kicked out. Does anyone want to adopt Jesus today? He slept on the streets last night and he's all wet. All you have to do is take a packet and pray for this homeless person. That's it. They can't go into a church with AC and they can't go eat after. You might want to meet him. He's right there.
Where is he?
Right here.
Okay, hey buddy, I'm Steve.
How you doing, Steve?
God bless you. God bless you. It's good to see you. Well, I will come and see. We'll meet. We'll get together.
Okay. Are you going to come back to Houston after Lake Charles?
Yeah, I'm just going. That's what I'm saying. I'm catching a ride to Lake Charles, and I'm gonna be coming back. Yeah, you do that. Give my number. That's great. Okay. All right, and we'll get together. Yeah.
We're just trying to figure out a little bit of. We're done. This was a success. I mean, we gave away. 1,000 people passed up Jesus, but 7 people decided to. You know. That's a good number. I think that's a good number. That's awesome. We got the ushers.
Oh man.
We're having a rally of love, and we got the ushers. We got the protesters.
My dad's when I was driving, they were like, wait, I don't know. Is that on?
You don't have to take our packets to take them in.
Adopted Jesus. It's worth it. It's nice to meet you, Gary.
I adopted Jesus and I feel great.
But now we fight for love. Wave the suffering hero. Run with him to fight the shallows. We